Hey ladies and gents, boys and girls, one and all, welcome. Hope we're all doing well. Welcome to another edition of the London session. Without further ado, guys, let's get this show on the road. As always, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter where you are around the world. Looking forward to another big week on the charts. So obviously lots going on over the weekend in regards to news-wise, especially coming out of the US with the talk of tariffs being slapped back on, additional tariffs. So it's interesting, gold off the back of that, it's popped straight up. To be honest, I did think that would be the case. I did mention to my members group, will not surprise me at all if gold does just pop straight up at the open, more so in a way based on the way the previous weekly counter closed, but we'll discuss that in a minute. So we'll be looking obviously at the gold. We'll also be looking at German 40, a chart I've already marked up, and also any other pairs as per request. But in the meantime, guys, if you could do me a favor, and you guys know what that is, quickly please make sure to hit that like button. It's really important that you do it. It helps to get numbers onto the stream, and don't be shy to say g'day, guys. Do say hello in the chat, and feel free to ask any questions. If you'd like me to have a look at any charts, feel free to mention those as well in the chat, and I'll be sure to get to you all shortly. In the meantime though, let's get started and let's have a look at the news to begin and see if there is anything off scheduled here today moving forward. Once again, a bank holiday in Japan, and I think this could be the final day, if I'm not mistaken, for the Chinese bank holidays. I'm not too sure about that, but anyway, as far as our session here today, nothing of impact that should really interrupt proceedings. As we know though, anything could happen any point in time. Moving forward into the today's trading into MI session, we do have one of the FOMC members speaking, so that's obviously something you would need to be a little bit wary of. Keep an eye on that, guys, as it could have some sort of impact on the markets. Alrighty guys, so let's get into it and let's have a look at the gold to begin with, and starting that weekly time frame. And what we can see is that previous weekly did close back in the end bullish. It did create the upper wick in the end. Actually, it didn't really leave an upper wick in the end, but we did in fact pull back towards right at the end of the week to create that well, to flip back bullish and close right up near our high. So what this does suggest to me is that perhaps the bottom could potentially be in, guys. I'm not calling it just yet, but there is a good chance it could be. Reason being is because this kind of candle formations, no matter on what time frame, if leaving these long lower wicks only to close back bullish, suggests to me that the buyers are winning out. So there's a lot of sellers present in the market within these candles. However, by the end of it, the buyers end up winning the arm wrestle, tipping it back in the favor of the bulls, and we have closed obviously up near our high. So what I did mention was on the weekend update to my team that there is a good chance we could just pop straight up, seeing that this candle is to me a liquidity candle. So it's done a lot of the work from the downside, picking up all those orders in order to push price back bullish. Now, having said that, still would prefer it to have a lower wick and prefer the previous candle to have an upper wick. So we don't have really either of those. So let's just mark in the current weekly open and let's just see what we got below it. But also, guys, you know what I'm about to say, with what we're looking for within this candle itself, the current daily / weekly, is what levels we may have formed on the way up, and we want to see if price is going to respect those levels upon a pullback, or we're likely going to look for continuation buys above the current daily / weekly high. Moving on to the daily time frame here, guys, as we can see, nice strong catalyst, a really nice strong close above this previous resistance here to the left hand side, which again suggests to me that there is a higher probability of price pushing bullish. So we've got counter probabilities bullish, we've got structure bullish here in a daily, and we're broken out into a pretty clean area of traffic. So once again, the all-time highs back on the cards. Doesn't mean what happened this week. Anything could happen. Highly unlikely if it does that, pulls all the way back up to retest the high within the current weekly candle. But who knows, guys, anything could happen. Don't expect anything, but anything could happen. On to the 4-hour time frame here, and we are still in fact bearish in structure because this is the last significant lower high. We did flip the structure, this one big impulse. However, what we can see is within it we are creating some higher lows, and higher high. So the trend within the trend, if that makes sense, the trend within the structure itself is in fact bullish. So obviously we could use that to our advantage for to add confidence to any potential buys. So I'm just going to mark in the recent resistance we have broken out of at the beginning of proceedings for today. To the upside, we won't bother. I mean, we've got level far off it, so we won't bother with that for the time being. We'll wait until we go down to the 15-minute time frame. Well, what we can see is we're about to form some resistance. So in accordance to Forex.com, the 4-hour candle is about to close. Depending on your broker, guys, because it won't be the case on all brokers. Some brokers would have already closed and it'll be the first hour of the new candle. However, we are about to close here, so I'll mark it in gray. And we'll make our way down now to the 15-minute time frame. And all right, so what we can see, guys, we are obviously in a big strong uptrend here, and none of that is going to change for quite some time. So definitely straight off the bat, I would consider, first of all, guys, just mark it in, so I'll let you guys know the buys above. So seeing we are just consolidating, Asian session has been a non-event. To be honest, there's not much has happened other than right at the daily open. We've just been consolidating. So if we were to pick up steam and begin to pop above the resistance, then there would be no reason not to look for a potential buy. So long as price does retest and we begin to pull away, that's what the likely scenario, what I'd be looking at. Could also look for your entries such as interruption candle entries if it does present. If we just seem to pump straight up without any sort of confirmation to look for a buy above the resistance, we'll have to wait and see. Though you can't plan for that to present, just have to wait for it to present. Now aside from that, what I'll be looking at is, so just below the Asian range low, what we've got is that resistance to the left hand side, which is obviously the previous 4-hour, the high of the 4-hour / daily resistance. So obviously off the back of that, price was to pull back to that point there and give us some sort of price action catalyst. I would look for a potential buy to take it back up towards the current daily candles high. So that is pretty much all I'd be looking at, to be honest, today, guys. Look, possibly buys from a little bit higher up above the Asian range of the support. So if we did, I would really preference it tapping back into that resistance. Let's just quickly look, have we done it yet on any time frame? So the 5-minute, no. Let's go down to, whoops, let's go down to the 1 minute even. Let's just see, have we want to see a close above and a retest. No, not even on the 1 minute, guys. So this is the first candle that closes above here on the 1 minute. We've not yet pulled back to it. So therefore, I would really preference price. If I'm looking to buy it upon the pullback, I would just be really strict with it and say I want it back at the resistance. Very simple, guys. Anything in between, look, I don't see all that much because it's just this, we're basically in consolidation. These wicks, these long wicks are just choppiness in the 5-minute as well. Possibly buys above this level, but again, it's quite choppy in the 5-minute, so I'm not going to keep that resistance there, to be honest. For the meantime, in the meantime, guys, I'm just going to wait for price to come back down to either support or pop above the high end. Very simple. But if we wait, we know we're, you know, definitely looking at trading the right levels. So that's an important thing, guys. We don't want to just trade in the middle of nowhere without any sort of confirmation. So that is the goal. Make sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're currently running trades, and we'll have a quick look at a German 40. So obviously here's one I prepared earlier. Let me just remove the drawings for the time being. Starting in that weekly time frame. So we did also end up flipping back bullish, and we formed a different form of liquidity candle here. So what we do is we broke the low of the previous candle, and we end up closing back bullish, almost engulfing it, and broke the high of it. So that to me suggests there's a high probability that price could continue bullish. However, what we can see is the current daily is rejecting quite strongly. So let's have a look at it on the daily time frame now. Hovering above a resistance here to the left, so that is a good thing. But structurally it is bullish. Counter probabilities, just an inside bar candle, pretty much no direction here in the higher time frame, to be honest. Just again, heavy area on the daily, 4 hour as well. Structurally it has flipped bullish though, trying to pop back above a support. So interesting. Now let's pull up the drawings and have a look at it on the 15 here. So what I mentioned was price pulling back into this zone a bit further, which is done now, and look for some potential buys upon a confirmation of the structure flipping back bullish. Do we ever flip bearish here? Let me check this out. I don't think we did. We have not closed below this wick, so therefore it's bullish. Allow for the micro trend within the structure itself to flip bullish as well. So for me, I'd be looking for buys above 25.130 basically. Seeing we are at the 4-hour support, if we were to bounce off it, break above this resistance, we've got some clean traffic to the left hand side, and again you're flipping the micro trending line with the actual structure and bias itself. So that's the type of play I'd be waiting for on German 40. And if we did pull up, I'd look for some potential rejection sells from either below 25.180 or 25.206 to 25.220, really a big zone, that one. That's what I'd be looking at if I was to consider trading it. But that is the quick market update, guys. Hopefully it made sense. Again, if you could though, in the meantime, make sure to hit that like button. And don't be shy to say g'day, guys. Let's get the chat pumping and let's have a good one, team. So, been a fantastic start to the year. Only my first loss came last stream, which ended up being, well, some guys took a win on it. It did flip only moments after I cut it short in it. It's very, very well managed small loss, but them's the breaks. That's how I roll. Can't always win every trade. Tony Gold, g'day to you, mate. Hope you're well. Michael, one of my loyal members, hope you had a great weekend, my friend, and welcome to you. Personally, yeah, I'm all good, mate. All good. Been to the gym, run some errands today, and had a look at the charts. Not much is happening. Did some work on a massive update to the course, the biggest update yet. It's pretty much a whole new thing, to be honest. It will take me time though. So I'm adding another bow to the string, and it's got nothing to do with what we do here, to be honest, but that's for my team. Peter took buys this morning, going to watch today. Nice one, mate. Yeah, look, wasn't on the charts. Not that there was a real strong confirmation, but just based off the way the previous weekly closed and what's gone on over the weekend in the news, I would have been quite tempted just to pretty much press buy at market open this morning, but I was not on my phone and not near the computer, so didn't end up obviously pulling the trigger, but all good. Bartman, yep, appreciate it. If you could give a like, guys, it'd be much appreciated. So we're just waiting here on the gold. Let's quickly look at silver. Obviously, guys, I'm big on silver. At an interesting level, silver, very interesting level. Yeah, okay, really interesting level for me when it comes to the high time frame perspective. It's at a strong daily resistance. Now, this is different. I've come about this zone in a very different way as to what I would trading scalping, but anyway, yeah, this is from my team. But looking at the silver, what I can see is it's still bullish. I mean, the minor time frames, but again, just the level it's at, I don't really want to lose this zone, but anyway, we'll get rid of it. For me, I'd be looking for similar to gold pullback buys. Let's look at it in the 4 hour just quickly. So the 4 hour possibly, well, actually it doesn't look like it's quite retested. Let's just drag this zone across, and similar to gold, the same as gold, what we're going to do is have a look to see if any candle at all has retested that level. All right, so it's different here. We have on silver closed above it, the 15 minutes, pulled back to retest it, and we're going to pull away from it. So on silver, I'd be extremely bullish as well. However, what I can see is if we begin to pop below the Asian range low, you could argue, well, it is in fact going to flip the 15-minute structure. So based on that, a closure below it, you've got some sort of catalyst to look for, maybe potential sells. So if it did close below, knowing that also I've got the daily open gap to the left, could possibly come back down to fill that gap and create lower wick on the weekly / daily. So be looking and considering potential options for a sell below that support. Otherwise, same as gold, basically be looking for the buys above the daily high, the resistance, which is just a bit below it actually. And that is how I see silver for the time being. GJ, weekly closed weak bullish, daily heavy consolidation at strong support though, so very tricky, no direction at the minute, just in 4 hours. We're all just chopping about from the support. Nice trade we called in the members group last week, which would have been a really nice win. Onto the 15-minute time frame here. I'd be probably, it's a bit of a mixed bag on GJ. Considering where price is at, I'd be looking for rejection sells from really anywhere below 209.20, around that point. So let price pop up. Now what you probably best to do is so if it'd be nice if it popped up, created maybe a little bit of a couple counter pullback, pop up a bit higher, flip the structure from below the resistance, and that could be your cue to look for a potential sell. That is a GJ. Sunboss Gone Links, good day to you, mate. Hope you're well. Another new week, yep. Looking forward to it. So this is probably the most uneventful Asian session we've had for a long time, to be honest. Because literally, other than market open, price has just been stuck in a pretty narrow range for gold anyway, so just need to patiently wait and let it create another move. Hopefully coming to Frankfurt Open might bring a bit of volume. My team. Let me send you guys a link. Oops. You guys feel free to join. Laura, good day to you. Happy Monday, just got home. Nice one. Hope you had a good day and hope you had a good weekend. And I hope to catch you on one of the members calls at some time. I know you've been busy. But yeah, so big news from my members. Speaking of, you guys know the drill for Monday. Members. About VIP, we have our education session each Monday, so any topic you'd like me to cover, feel free to pop that, guys, in the VIP chat and I'll be sure to cover it. This is not bad on gold. We're starting to make a little bit of a move to the downside here. quickly have a look at some other pairs as well, just to see what is going on. Euro, Aussie. Pretty strong downtrend on Euro Aussie here. Structure is bearish on the daily time frame. You got the weekly closing strong bearish. 4 hour is also bearish in structure. Well, if this candle was about to close, you'd have a really nice confirmation to sell on the 4 hour. But anyway, seeing we know it's bearish pretty much across the board here, other than the 15 minute. The 15 minute is technically bullish, but the bias is bearish. So what I'd be looking for on EA, really have a zone here, but I just use that. I'd be looking for sells below it, just consolidating and trickling towards it. So I've been waiting for just to close below, retest, continuation, and otherwise sells from higher up. That's Euro Aussie. Let's have a look at GU and EU quickly. Let's actually do some quick top down on it. Let's start the weekly time frame, and I'll remove these drawings. Sorry guys. Looking at the weekly, so the previous weekly did close back strong and bearish. So off the back of that, be looking for perhaps levels we could pull back to within that previous weekly candle if we are to continue in line with that direction, and look out for some resistance to potentially form, and look for a potential sell onto the daily time frame here. So the daily, a little bit of a conflicting story, because the daily has pretty much tapped into level, closed back almost a doji candle, just a weak bullish candle, and now we have counter probabilities being bullish. Current candle open with a bit of a gap to the upside. We have broken a high of the previous candle. So looking at GU, let's just mark in the current candle's high, and let's move on to the 4 hour. The structure itself is bullish. Now onto the 4 hour time frame, and that in itself is also bullish, the structure, and we've flipped the micro trend, you could argue as well, back bullish, creating a higher high just here. So GU, I'd be marking that as the most recent resistance to the left. As far as support, we'll use that for the time being, make our way down to the 15. 15 is bullish. So for me, GU, I'd be looking for buy options. Be looking for the potential buys, and looks like there could be potential options above the current day's high. Yep, pretty clean to the left. So that could be one option. Otherwise, what I'd be looking at is just levels we could potentially pull back to within the current daily candle. So still going to be bullish anywhere above 134.80 roughly. So any pullback, if we were in fact to sweep the Asian range low, only to pop back above it, I'd be looking for a buy based off that. And as I mentioned, buys above the high on GU, or buys upon a deeper pullback towards that 134.80 to 90, that sort of region. Pretty simple, but on a Monday, I'd rather try and line up the strength of the trend. Back to the gold. It's time to say good day to the TikTok crew as well. Next, good day to you. Hope everyone had a good weekend, and you too. This along, what about UJ? Let me have a look at that for you in a moment. All right, so let's take a look at UJ as per the request. All right, so to me it looks quite bearish just looking at it on the 15-minute time frame, and it looks to be a slow trickle back up, which is often met by another waterfall. So let's just see though, let's do the top down and have a look at it starting in a weekly time frame. So all right, so the weekly, they suggest otherwise. The weekly has bounced off a strong level to the left, which is more of a daily level, and that's it, closed back strong bullish. The current candle has no upper wick. Let's just mark in the open of the current candle and make our way down to now the daily time frame itself. And the daily, all right, so conflicting as well here, because the daily suggests opposite, so I mean the same as GU but in the opposite direction. What daily suggests is that we could now continue back bearish. So against the weekly time frame, We've got consecutive candles leaving long upper wicks. We've now opened straight bearish, broken low of that doji candle, and looks like we could potentially come back down further. So let's also mark in the current day's low, make our way down to the 4-hour time frame here. And 4-hour, we are technically, the way I see it, technically bearish in structure. Not going to change anytime soon, by the looks of it. Yeah, anyway, let's just get back to the most recent levels, and we'll mark that in on the 4-hour. As far as resistance, let's mark in the current day's high. Let's go down to the 15. We'll just drag that to that point there, highest point of any bearish candle. All right, so what I'd be looking at on UJ, so the 15 is bearish. So it's, again, it's a little bit conflicting. So you got the daily candle probabilities bearish, you got weekly candle probabilities based off the previous bullish. You got the 4-hour structure is bearish, 15-minute structure is bearish. Does look clean though, but like I mentioned before, often what we see after this sort of move is just a slow trickle back up, like so. Great, maybe a few staircases up with some high lows, higher highs, but barely visible higher lows and higher highs. And eventually at some point, and not always, but there's a good chance that it will eventually begin to turn back over and create another impulse in line with the trend. So I'd be a little hesitant to buy it, to be honest. And what I would do is just wait patiently for a potential sell option, whether it comes now, seeing we swept the high of the Asian range, and if price was to pull back within it, perhaps in just under 12 minutes from now, you may have a potential sell option, take it back down towards the current day's low, or at least the 4-hour support just above the low at 154.20. Otherwise, I would avoid looking for the buy here, and I would just simply wait for price to end up pulling back. And whenever you get your confirmation, such as maybe a bit of support forming, a bit of a close below support, retest, pull away from it, that's when you could look for a potential sell option upon the pullback. Otherwise, sells below the current day, that is the current day low. Yeah, of course it is. So sells below a current daily low upon continuation would also make sense. It is actually clean on the high time frame below that point as well, so I would definitely consider 153.995 as a level to potentially sell from. We can see the daily got some clean traffic to the left, 4-hour as well. So yeah, I'll definitely consider that. That is my personal opinion on UJ. TikTok, one and all, g'day to you. Don't be shy to say hello and ask questions. We are currently waiting on gold. What we're looking at today is potential for it to pull back towards the resistance it broke out of at the beginning of proceedings today. So I want it to really come back down towards that 5119.40 to be exact, or anywhere below it, to retest this zone. We've not tested it again on any time frame since closing above, not even the 1 minute. Aside from that, I'd be looking for continuation buys above the high. We do have some clean traffic to the left, so that to me will be another option. And look, there's a zone in between the zone we've broken out of at the beginning of the day and obviously the current daily high, so we're pulling back to it just now, possibly, but I really would rather it come back down, because my concern is if we were to buy it from a support forming just here, my concern is it may just trickle up a bit, maybe even just give us a pause candle, and then end up pulling back to tap into that, grab that leftover liquidity that we've not yet tapped into since breaking it. So it's important to have a plan, guys, and just to follow it and not try to, you know, jump in on something in between. The only time I jump in between is when I have something such as an interruption candle entry, because you can't predict when that might happen. Any questions? TikTok, how are we, guys? Stream live on YouTube at the same time. You must believe in Jesus. Always welcome to you. Grace of God through faith in Jesus. LZFJM, what's the first steps you recommend to get into trading? No experience whatsoever. Check out this website. It's for free. It will help you out with terminology and everything. Also about choosing a broker and what you need to do, so on and so forth. Just add .com to the end of what I've just sent into the chat. I think there is a paid version of it if you want, but you don't need it. I think there is. I'm not sure if there is. There is a free course on that too. So that is definitely where I would start. Open up account with TradingView. It's just easier to chart on TradingView. Decide what broker you want to perhaps deal with. And I mean, read reviews, look for a reputable one. Also depends on where you are. Sign up to a broker, maybe demo trade first, but watch the streams, watch me trade, watch how disciplined and consistent I am with it all. You'll start to pick up on a few things at the same time, but just take your time. Don't jump straight in, because the likelihood is that you're going to lose whatever you put in to begin with. So only risk what you can afford to potentially lose. You're going to make mistakes as a new trader. You're going to open a buy position when you're looking to open a sell. It happens, believe me. You're going to take a trade on GU when you thought you're trading GJ. That happens. I've done that many times in the past. So yeah, just that's probably the best way you could go about it. But tune into the streams. Please, anyone here understands the scam? James understands the scam with what, an 80.22% win rate over 1.5 years of streaming, 2 years of streaming. If you think that's a scam, shown live how I go about the entries, and when I take the entries, call live. I never ask anyone to send me money or anything. Never send messages to anyone from TikTok, YouTube, even my team. I always tell them, send me a DM first and I'll reply. So if you think it's a scam, you can bugger off. Anyone who streams live and trades live, it's not a scam. It can't be a scam. If we're doing it live in front of you, it's not a scam. I don't ask for nothing from you guys. And once again, if anyone contacts you claiming to be me, it's not me, guys. So just block them. If you guys know how to find me. If you want to ask me questions, you want to know anything, you guys contact me first and I'll always reply. Becky, Kate, when is the best buy for gold or sell? Look, the way we're now currently potentially forming support, this rate's likely going to be above the current day's high, because we're just essentially still in consolidation. I'm not convinced that we're going to make the move just yet, because we've not yet grabbed that leftover liquidity from the downside here. So without that move prior to looking for a buy, I'd rather it pop above the resistance, because if we were to respect the current daily high and perhaps continue bearish for the short term, it would be not much need for us to pop above this point, retest it, and then begin to pull away from it. So that would be my confirmation otherwise, if we don't pop back down to this level first. So as to what time or when, or no one knows. And if they do say they know, then that's a scam. So no one knows. We'll see if and when it happens. Becky Kate, I'm sorry, but you got to get the same deal everyone else does who comes here trying to promote their own group. You send signals, 9% win rate, well, goodbye to you. No longer to be seen on TikTok in the chat. Iron Man Shrek, think it's OS time to sell? Possibly, I mean, we'll wait and see. Just tapped at M30, I see. Yeah. It's just the area, man. But I mean, the issue is we tapped in already here. I mean. So the confirmation's there, and essentially we're just in consolidation. Technically speaking, yes. Would I be comfortable in it? Probably not, especially also got that support which we are bouncing off. But I do see what you mean. Jim, good morning to you. Uncle, no scam. Appreciate it, mate. Definitely not. Dean, very scam. It's obviously pre-recorded, isn't it? Sunboss Gone Lens, we have been here with you and your stats are correct. Thank you, mate. I did update to that loss. I did update it. So it went from 80.66 off the one loss back to 80.22. Markle, yeah, nah, definitely not, but all good. Think what they want. So, didn't realize, but after blocking Miss Becky Kate, she's apparently part of a signal service, 90% win rate, and asked if she should sell. Jesus, sort of signal service is that? Thank you to the new followers as well, guys. Welcome. So we're just patiently watching gold here. Gosh, you weren't looking at because it's just tap support. Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. It's tapped into that level. Dean just signal botting for their signal service. Yep. I may have made a mistake, I don't know. I mean, that's the deal. If you come on trying to promote a group or a service, you get banned straight away. Unless she was referring to something else, so my bad if that's the case, but it just sounded like... Check my bio. But then she's asking when to buy and sell. I don't know. Anyway. Anyhow. Yeah, so my members team, look out. I'm looking forward to this. It's pretty much a sub. It's a course within a course, to be honest. But I'm keen to do it, keen to get it done. Something I want to get more involved in myself, to be honest. So you guys appreciate it. Talking to the members, VIP. German 40. So tapped into the high for resistance. It did close back below it. What would be nice here in German 40 is if it can trigger in some sellers. Trap those sellers, so close back a bearish candle, trap sellers close above, like so. Gold. Jesus. And guys in YouTube, while we wait, if you could just quickly hit that like button. See, the crypto had a bit of a sell-off today, actually, during the Asian session. Quite a big sell-off here on Bitcoin. Let's have a look at it in a high time frame perspective here. In daily, very strong support it keeps tapping into. So really want price to, if it is to perhaps bounce again, I think it really needs to start to pull back and close back above this support in the daily, back above that 66,000 sort of region, 66,300. Otherwise, if it closes below, then there's a good chance that 63k will come back into play, and even at 60k. Just needing this chart up a little bit. Yeah, so Bitcoin, I'd be looking for pullback sales as well. Be more interested in selling it. Perhaps continuation sales as well, but I would prefer the pullback sell. Either if you got a bearish engulfing, that could be a first potential entry. You are running into a 15-minute interruption though. Otherwise, this is the nearest support. So as it begins to flip the micro trend back in line with the structure itself, that could be a point of entry. Refi, good day to you. On gold, if previous M15 candle closed strong bullish, then buys were valid. Yeah, no, not for me. No, we're pretty much just in the middle of consolidation here, so I would not consider it an area I'd want to get involved in a trade. I mean, if it did close back bullish engulfing, for instance, let's just quickly mark it in. You got to look at it, and a catalyst isn't a catalyst if it's at the wrong area on the chart. So, for instance, if it happens here, you've got basically no margin whatsoever to the next resistance, and you're right back in the middle of the consolidation. You don't have near a one-to-one. Stop loss is way too wide. So, for me, I mean, if it forms at this point, then yes, 100%. And the fact that we've not retested this zone just yet, I would just rather wait for it to happen if it does happen. Because look what we're doing now. We're pulling back quite strongly within the current candle. We were now flipping, but My concern is that we've not yet come back down to gather the leftover liquidity from the downside here, so we may still do so just for the time being. I know we have a level here, so you're probably thinking, but we're tapped into that level, so that's why it could bounce. And yes, there is a chance, but again, as I mentioned before, if that was to happen, I'd avoid this whole area and wait for price to pop above the resistance, and that's when I start trusting it again for continuation without it tapping into this zone prior to it. I hope that made sense. O'Brien's where I think it will go down to. Look, possibly 5,119. This level have not yet retested since breaking out during the open of today's session. But, you know, anything could happen. We don't necessarily need to pull back to it. You're going to sell from 52, or you cash out and wait? You have to have a plan, mate. What's your plan? Where's your stop loss? What's your target? I'd be at break even. Again, I scalp, so that'd be enough profit. You'd have 100 pips on the table. We are approaching the Asian range support. We've tapped into it, bounced off in the previous candle. It could do so again. So I'd definitely be managing the trade. You could consider trailing your stop loss quite tightly. That will eat into your profits if it does begin to flip. But yeah, I definitely would have secured some profit. Thank you for the advice. All good. Yeah, but you need to definitely go into every trade with a clear-cut plan as to what you're targeting, what's going to make you maybe begin to cut the trade if it goes against you, and where you might secure some profit in between as well. You need to have all that in your head prior to looking for an entry. Thanks for scamming slow. Franco, good morning to you, mate. Hope you're feeling better. 15 minutes. I see on silver. Yeah. It is, and silver actually looks better because you could confirm a structure flip here too. So it would make more sense to sell silver. So silver, as I mentioned before, looking good for some potential entries, whether it be upon the tap back into the interruption candle. You might want to roll for slightly wider stop loss though, because it's pretty narrow. That's a pretty narrow stop. That candle doesn't have a great deal of volume. But that could be a potential entry point. You'd be looking at that, and then or the potential continuation. So what I want to see is, has price retested this zone? Not yet. The 1 minute got close, but not just yet. So we need some sort of retest into it, and then you could also look for the continuation sell on the following candle. Gold is also pulling back. Sleepy, g'day to you. Think gold is going down right now. You're waiting for a buy position. Yes, I am waiting for a buy. Some of us go on lens. Very, very hilarious indeed. Some just open mouth how they want it. Yeah. Yeah, they do, but all good. All good. Just give me one moment, guys. And likely going to be a potential interruption sell on gold present. Just isn't it on the Monday against the structure? I mean, silver looks better. Adrian J honestly use silver as an indicator for gold. Yeah, I understand that. The thing is with that, sometimes gold, for the most part, gold is what takes the lead, and then silver follows. But sometimes it is the opposite. So I trade silver more for the intraday sort of trades. I don't really scalp it, although I have in the past and would be tempted to again. But a lot of time when I look at silver for the intraday, I do focus on gold levels. I like to see where gold is at, if it's tapped into a level of interest, because a lot of time gold will bounce off that level and silver will follow it. So off the back of that, I do pretty much the opposite. I look at gold for entries on silver. I also look at silver, obviously, to see if it has tapped into a level. But knowing if gold has, off the back of that, I can feel pretty comfortable that there's a good chance silver will also bounce off that level. So that's what it's based off. So I can understand why you do that. I don't think anyone really needs to look at DXY. Yeah, just to add confidence, maybe look at, you know, silver, or vice versa, look at gold if you're trying to trade silver. Sorry, I should have said more. It's more or less to give me an indicator on the direction of gold. Yeah, that again, I do similar, in all honesty. So I don't think at all it's a stupid thing. Not at all. I think it's a pretty good thing to do, to be honest. Byron, point to you. I went short on gold, 51.47.71. Closed at 100 pips. TP after moving. Stop loss to break even. Learning from you in points of sticking to market structure and a disciplined process. Nice one, mate. Yeah. Nice one. Look, I can understand the trade. I'm personally more bullish today. But nonetheless, I mean, as long as you're sticking to your plan, that's the main thing. Done for the day. Track set up from Asian session. Nice one. Nice work, mate. Nicely done. Personally, not taking a trade today. So silver looks the best, guys. Silver looks pretty good. All right, so it doesn't look like it has retested at all. So seeing that is the case, what would need to happen is the following candle would need to tap in to that resistance. Now, you have a few options. You have the limit order sell at low of that bullish candle on what we call the interruption candle. So we've impulse, pause, impulse. Engulfed significantly. After that, we know there's a potential level price could pull back to before it rejects again is the low of that bullish candle. That is what we call the interruption candle. It works a treat. I mean, the win rate on this thing this year has been phenomenal. I would probably have to guess around that 90% for the most part. But there is a chance it's not going to pull back that far. It is a substantial pullback. Let's have a look at gold. Let's see how the candle closed. So we're not. Yeah, it's still a way to go here on gold. I want to keep that zoning, so I want to see what happens in London Open, if there could be a way of getting involved to the upside around this zone, but we'll see. Back to silver just quickly. Alright, so if it breaks low, there is a good chance it's going to fill that gap. The issue is I've not got any retest whatsoever of that zone. So, got to be strict with it, guys. You have a plan, you have rules. Important thing is to stick to those rules. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna pull back up, so watch gold again. 100 sleepy, bro. I guarantee you this candle hit many people. This candle hit many people stop losses. This one, possibly, because a lot of people may have been looking to buy gold just off any bullish confirmation, or a lot of people would have looked to buy gold from earlier with stop loss maybe back below this support. Who knows? Agent G, silver has room to go down, plenty. Silver will go negatively short with a bit of joy. Well, it would be nice if it goes a bit shorter and gold follows, because then we'll be into that level on gold. So silver is now definitely bearish in the 15-minute time frame here. So the options on silver, as I mentioned, are waiting for it to pull back to create the lower high, or tap into that bullish candle low and limit order sell. Otherwise, you really just... It'd be nice if it actually formed some support here. So if it, for instance, taps into this zone now, it's going to close back, might close back bullish, might not. But if it can maybe do a bit of this consolidation below the previous level, then close below it, and then rip to the downside, that would be a solid entry. But anything could happen. That is very far off happening for the time being. Charts could not give a crap about what I want it to do. Charts have no emotions, so they will just do whatever they do, and we look to pick up the pieces. We wait patiently for our plan to present. Dean silver closed like it is now. It'd be breaking Asia low too. Yep, definitely did that. Delayed ICNM 30 below it too, but I won't take it since it's from last week. Just here. Yeah, I mentioned that as well. That's it. Oh, did I? Well, mention on one of the pairs anyway. I think it was GU actually. Yeah, you do have a delayed one just here. It's not bad actually. Because I'm still bullish on silver, even though short-term picture may suggest we may pull back a bit further. That could be a point of entry. You've filled that gap at that point. Now, these gaps, I mean, it won't likely... There's a good chance not going to be a gap on your broker's chart. The reason why it's a gap here is because if you look carefully at session open, market open, these charts don't actually start printing candles until about maybe 5 minutes or so after. Sometimes more, sometimes maybe a bit less, gold and silver. Whereas your broker's chart will start printing from the moment time ticks to a new daily candle. So it's not necessarily a gap. It's just because of that delay in the feed for TradingView. This door's about to fly off its hinges. Dean looks a lot nicer in futures. There is no gap. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I'm sure it would. There's no gap on my broker's chart as well. But it is now breaking. I can see on my broker's chart, silver is breaking below the low of the previous candle. So again, for me, there's no valid entry because it's not retested that zone it broke and closed below. But possibly a delayed interruption. I don't mind the 30-minute ones at the downside, to be honest. Sunbusk on lens, silver and gold chart look similar. Yeah, at the moment, silver is taking a lead. So this is what I mean. Sometimes you look at it and silver will be ahead, where it'll be up or down. And other times you look at it, it will be gold making the first move. Shit, this door. And just to those of you on TikTok, guys, think about jumping across the YouTube stream at some point, make sure to subscribe to YouTube channel. Just in case I get a ban hammer. I've been getting warnings left, right, and center throughout all of last week. First time in a long time, so look me up. Exact same profile name, streaming live on YouTube. You get the full screen as well. So that includes the price scale and everything else. And YouTube, let's get those like numbers up if we could while we wait. All right, so it looks like we're trying to retest this zone. Let's see what happens. All right, this is good. This is what we want. Silver almost completing a move, so it's still got a bit of room to the daily open. Sylvia, good day to you, mate. Welcome. There we go, German 40. So it's actually doing what I said I would love for it to do, triggering some sellers at this resistance, then look for price to trap those sellers. So let's just remove this again into Chartison into my group. So what I meant by that was pretty much what we're doing just now. Wanted to see price first of all close back a bearish candle at the resistance, so we know we've got some sell side liquidity at that level, and then what I want to see is price trap that liquidity from downside liquidity and trap those sellers and look for potential buyers. Price begins to close above, so on the following candle, wait for a low wick continuation, and that would be to me a very solid entry. You've got about 4.5 minutes for that confirmation. Now if it closes strong bullish, doesn't necessarily need to engulf. Stronger the better though. If it closed, for instance, something like that, that would still be a valid entry. Let's wait for a low wick and then potential entry off the back of that. But German 40 starting to present, looking pretty good. Oh, a little bit stubborn, may not make that move just yet. Sylvia, can I tell you please Asia high and low to see if I marked it correctly on my chart? Appreciate it. On gold Asian high, it just depends on your broker's chart though. On Forex.com, it's listed as 5176.69. That is a high. And I mean, we just currently created a low other than the open. But again, I draw the Asian range from the Tokyo Open till the Frankfurt Open. So if you want the data for up until that point, then I can tell you that low is 5129.71. So to the upside, 5176.69. The downside, 5129.71. Alright, don't have the catalyst to buy it, even if this closes back weak bullish. You marked from the open. Alright, so if you've marked it from literally the daily open, you got 5107.42. That's to the downside. Alright, so reason why I'm not considering this tertiary entry at the minute, even if 15 closes back bullish, is because all I've got is a weak bullish candle with a low high, low low. Pretty much buying it back into consolidation here. There is no minor resistance here in a 5-minute. So what I mean by that is, let's just say there was 5 more minutes remaining and the last 5-minute candle closed, for instance, like so, weak bearish. And we've got a potential level to enter from as price begins to break the resistance, high probability coming back up towards that 51.50 off the back of that. Don't have any confirmation just yet. I don't have that sort of signal, so I need to just chill. And looking at the overall picture here, we're just consolidating. Ever so slowly trickling back down. Sylvia, yeah, it probably depends on your broker's chart, mate. But it all depends on your so obviously at different prices, different brokers. All right, so still nothing here on the gold. Let's quickly look at silver. So silver looks like it could potentially pull back to retest that zone. Yeah, we took a trade similar on Thursday to this, you guys remember. So I didn't quite have that 5-minute resistance just yet. And I cut it in drawdown, cut the trade short, and it actually did end up playing out. I know some of my guys actually kept the trade open and got the win. But for me at this point, we're pretty much not clear to consolidation here. I really would rather it happen lower down. Really don't see all that much at the minute. See how the 5-minute closes though. Google's 5105, good area to buy. Yeah, if it comes back down to that point there, yeah, it's not a bad area. Back within the previous resistance, the 4-hour level. So I'm watching to see how this 5-minute closes, but I mean, it looks like it may even close back bullish here. So really, if that's the case, then all is nothing. You guys think we may be too bullish for that? Look, potentially. I do believe there is a good chance at some point we're coming back down to 51.19. Whether or not it's going to go beyond that point and drop to the level you've mentioned, that remains to be seen. But let's quickly look at all the different time frames, because we are letting into session open here. If I like that 30, definitely don't like the look of the hourly. 5-minute actually closed back bullish. Yeah, we're just gonna wait, guys. We're gonna wait. I reckon we're gonna wait for session open. Gary F. You took a buy on Friday. 5,097. Should I keep going? It's up to you, mate. What's your plan? I definitely would have secured the majority by now. I would definitely be at break even. I'd probably be trailing the stops up. I mean, anything could happen. Again, as I mentioned earlier, prior to any trade, you guys need to have a plan of what you're targeting, how you're going to go about managing the trade once it goes, you know, in profit, or if it goes against you. Look, for me, I believe there is a good chance we're still going to pop back down to this 51.19 region to retest that 4-hour resistance. We've not yet done so on any time frame. So if that being said, it's going to pull back further potentially. It doesn't have to, but what I'm rather it do and what it could potentially do is pick over that leftover liquidity. So that's going to again eat into your profit, your target. You should have a target. Look, I can understand if you just want to hold it and considering that it could come back up to your all-time high eventually, but at some point you're gonna have to start managing a trade either way. So have a plan as to when you're going to get to break even, when you're going to start to trail your stop loss. You might even want to trail it to this point now. I mean, you got a good entry rate, so don't be too greedy. Alright, so just over 7.5 minutes until session open, guys. Let's see where we're going to be at the open. And the option on silver is there for the interruption. Play it on the 15-minute time frame. Sell limit at low of that bullish candle. Let's look at German 40. Or probably not a strong enough closure, to be honest. I really want this to close above that resistance. May need to wait for session open as well. Keep it locked on gold. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. Sorry. Thanks, I'm so lagging behind today. My network has been a problem. Mine's been all day, but the service provider has been updating. It's been in and out all day, to be honest. Aladdin FX, silver for buys. Yeah, I'll be looking at the pullback sell at this rate. So it's tapping in the impulse since well, since the Asian high has obviously been to the downside. Flip the structure bearish on the 15-minute time frame here. So I'd wait and see how price reacts to this level of previous support. See if it holds as resistance. Point of entry to the upside would be above this bearish candle high. So a closure above for me would, you know, trigger me into potentially looking for buys if I was trading it. Otherwise, like I mentioned before, you have a valid interruption candle sell at low of that bullish candle upon a sell limit. So if you don't know what that is, then definitely don't take it. Something that we teach in our VIP. But for me, I'm focused on the gold here. Just really not doing much at all. Area should go up earlier. Oh, you should have got out earlier, you mean? You put your stop loss to 5100. Well, mate, that's what I mean. You need to have a plan. Looks like we could now continue back up. still not had a bearish candle close, not even on my broken chart. They're all straight bullish. Now, are we just pulling back one last time in order to grab some liquidity left from the upside in order to make the move back down to resistance we have not yet tapped into? Remains to be seen. At the moment, we're trying to push bullish, as is silver. This 15-minute candle has just not moved, literally. Gary, I didn't have a plan. I went all in. No stop loss at TP. Well, that's a plan. Well, you're in profit, mate, so the thing is, you're going to live to see another day. As long as you're trailing it in profit, you stop loss. IV King, do you use fair value gap? No, I do not. Do not look at fair value gaps whatsoever. Alright, so let's see how we open here at session open. I'm going to be careful with it, guys. Still nothing of real high quality at the minute. Looks like we're closing potentially a doji candle. We've got it just over 30 seconds remaining for this candle to close. 30-minute looks like it's going to close back weak bullish potentially, or even a doji candle. I'm not convinced about this level because I really want it back down lower. And it looks like we've got potentially 3 consecutive 5-minute candles closing back doji candles. So it's really showing not much, to be honest, not really giving us any indication as to where it wants to go at the minute. All right, session open. So let's just see. I'm not sending any orders. I really would love for price to push back down, to drop back down. Gary, I had a shit week last week. I went all in. As long as you can accept it, mate. I'm not, who am I to judge? Definitely not how I go about it though. Even after a shit week, which, thankfully very few and far between, but still, if I have a shit week doesn't mean I just, all in the following week. I can't be asked. You need to, need to have a plan, need to stick to rules, need to journal. It's all cliche, but it works. It really works. Treat it like a job. Thanks. Do you at times, like when network is bad, trade using your phone? Oh, look, not really. No, the only time I look at my phone is if I'm looking for possible intraday sort of entries on maybe silver, where I can't really sit at the computer all day waiting for a potential entry. I've got some levels marked, and if I get a notification or something, I'll have a look on my phone when I'm out and see if I am interested. Alright, this is better. Gold's now trying to drop. His trading views lagging a lot. Like, the thing is, if you're trading off your phone, what you got to accept is if you're scalping, it's a lot tougher to manage the trade. You gotta be really quick, obviously, on the phone. In the meantime, you could miss out on pips either way. It could, put you deeper into drawdown, or it could put you deeper into profit sometimes in your favor. But sometimes it's going to pull back. We think you've closed out, let's just say 40, 50 pip TP, and you end up, it ends up pulling back in that split second, 10 or 15 pips. That's the thing that happens. So I prefer to look for the intraday / mini swings on the phone if they are to present, knowing that I've got levels marked out, prior to turning off the computer, knowing what I roughly want to see at those levels, and based off that I can set the order and not worry so much, because I don't need to be like a hawk and watching it like when I'm scalping. Nathan, do you signals? As in, do I have a signal service? No, I do not. Do I call trades on stream? Yes, if I take a trade, or every time I call a trade. Doesn't mean every session is a trading session. I have strict plan rules to follow. Sleep, any thoughts on bots? I'm yet to see one that convinces me, to be honest. Look, if I can design one based on the way I trade, then I still want to trust it, to be honest, because it still would interpret things slightly differently, because sometimes you need to use intuition, and so on and so forth. But I mean, bots run the markets. It's all run by algorithms. So, to be honest, I reckon it's probably going to get to the point where maybe there is no such thing as manual trading. Who knows? But again, I've yet to come across one that convinces me. There could be one, I'm not sure. Would I be willing to give one a go? Probably just to see, on a small account, just to see what it does. Maybe like 500 or $1,000, and if you lose it, so be it, I can accept it. Perhaps it flips it, fantastic. But generally speaking, yeah, I've yet to see one that convinces me. Google's AI is the future. It's bad, but it's true. It is. Trading might be obsolete soon enough. Who knows, guys? Really. All right, look at silver. It's retested. So now potential entry for silver would be if this closes bearish engulfing. Anyone who is interested who trades silver, that's what I'd be looking at. Peter, dinner time, all good, mate. Nothing playing out. Waiting for Tuesday Asian session. It rocks. Yep. Gotta love the Asian session for sure. But today, not that much. But yeah, I reckon tomorrow could be big. Reason means because China's back online tomorrow. Also, we are coming to the end of the first delivery month of the year. So from the Colmex, the big players, banks, hedge funds, basically the big players in the markets that shift the markets can actually demand physical delivery of their gold and silver, and that's the end of this month, the 28th. And what that could do is definitely shake the markets, especially if they demand delivery and there isn't the quantity to meet the demand. If that is the case, then I would expect gold and silver to absolutely pump. But who knows, it may not happen, and you know, may turn out there is not much demand for physical delivery. If that's the case, then things might go sideways or may even pull back a bit. So that's something to keep an eye on. That's the end of the month, so that's Friday. All right, gold here becoming a little more interesting. Bullish engulfing would maybe make me consider an entry, but the issue is how far it engulfs, because the problem is we don't have much margin now to a level of interest where it could potentially reject, and that's that 51.47. So I mean, it's a good chance even if it closes engulfing, we're not going to have the margin, to be honest. What a shit session though. Absolutely nothing going on. Five-minute starting will also look a little bit better. It would be fantastic if this was the final 5-minute candle of the M15. Just not. So for me, it's way too impulsive without the 15-minute confirmation. Dean just got back. Did you miss anything? So the Asian range entry would have worked, if I understand it correctly. No, it's not even valid, mate, to be honest. Nah, that trade's not even valid. No, you didn't. On silver. Maybe, I don't know. Is it? Yeah. Yep. Well, it wouldn't have hit TP yet, and technically speaking, it's a one-to-one thing. We just let it either hit TP or stop loss. But technically speaking, it's not there yet. It's actually not that far from the open. Probably would have managed it though. But yeah, I mean, it's working otherwise. Next, managing on the phone is a bit difficult. It definitely can be. It's easier now though, I must admit. MetaTrader 5, the last update, I do like it actually. The fact that you can now just drag horizontal is a lot easier. You can set limit orders a lot easier. I like also the fact that it's got the countdown timer to the candles, which is really good because it doesn't have it on the PC when you're using MetaTrader 5. I know there's EAs you can add, which will give you that. I don't have it. But on the phone, it's there, which is really good because I like to see how long we've got left until sometimes a 4-hour candle. I can't quite remember. You know, is it supposed to close now? Is it, or has it been open already an hour? Without the countdown, and just looking at MetaTrader on your phone, you don't know. Oh, well, I mean on PC, but on your phone, it actually gives you the countdown to how long's left for obviously your particular broker of every candle. But generally speaking, I don't recommend trading on your phone. I always say to my guys, just be really careful with it. Okay, watch when US strikes gold. Strikes Iran, gold will absolutely fly. Yeah, I'm sure. Gold and silver. But I wouldn't be surprised at the same time the US dollar also gets a bit of a leg up, because that is deemed to be more the safe haven currency. I know Swiss franc obviously, but I'm talking about in comparison to the other majors, the euro, the Aussie dollar. I know Swiss is a major, but euro, the Aussie dollar, GU, had USD, those sort of currencies. So it will not surprise me if they dump off the back of the fear. US dollar goes up, gold goes up, silver goes up. I reckon that could, you know, could eventuate if that's the case. It used to be the yen. The yen used to be the safe haven currency, but obviously that's, you know, shit the bed. But you watch, if that is the case, then I mean, who knows? Could be wrong, but I would look at the Aussie dollar, and I reckon that will shit the bed big time. That will back down into the 60s for sure. It's one of the first ones that gets hit whenever there's any, you know, negative coming out when it comes to that type of thing, news-wise, wars and that type of thing. The Aussie dollar shits the bed big time. This is just shit house. This is London session last year at the minute. Just straight up consolidation here on the 5. Alright, so we need that bullish engulfing. This rate doesn't look like it's going to happen. The giggles, hopefully New York gives us volume and confirmation. Yeah, look, that'd be nice. I personally won't be trading it, but too late for me. But it may shift gold again into cleaner traffic, so we'll see. But yeah, hopefully it does for you guys and my guys who trade it. I'll be more looking at what goes on for the Asian session at this rate tomorrow, and obviously London again. All right, so it's not engulfed. 5 minute, still pretty much in consolidation here. No upper wick. I just don't see a quality entry, guys. I see a potential entry, but to me it's not 100% quality, and I really want it to be top notch prior to taking any trade. So we've got long lower wicks suggesting grab downside liquidity. Would be better if it happened here. I would definitely consider it more, but that suggests to me that there's a good chance we break it, will pop up. There isn't a great deal of margin. It's not engulfing, which was what I wanted to see. So again, I've got to be really strict with it, and for me it is no entry. The same type of thing happens here, then yes, I would be considering it. So if it does happen, you're on the charts, have a think about that yourself if it ticks the box for you. Otherwise, just patiently wait, guys. Have the plan, just wait. Don't need to jump into anything second rate for the sake of it. If you've got a plan, it hasn't yet, you know, eventuated, just wait till it does, or call it a day. Otherwise, for me, gold, I'd still be focused on the buys. I really don't see much at all from the current level. I would still preference it above the high if it doesn't tap in. Otherwise, just wait for it to pull back further, tap in, then look for your options from lower down. That is pretty much it on the gold. That's what I'd be looking at. Silver, and the interruption play is still valid there. Not, again, stop loss is pretty narrow, so I'd probably have it a bit wider, maybe target a 1-to-1. That's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna go off and make some dinner. I've got a date with my team in probably about 45 minutes to an hour from now, guys. Probably about an hour, I'd say, maybe an hour and 15. So I'll catch my team on a members only call soon. Everyone else, thank you for your support. Tough day, nothing happening, shit day to be honest, but look, capital preservation, nothing lost, nothing gained. That's how it is some days. But thank you once again for your support, guys. I'll catch you all tomorrow around the same time, same place. Until then, just my friends, have a good one, trade safe, catch you tomorrow. Bye, guys.